Hello, greetings from Colorado Springs. My name is Lance Kohler, and I'm the managing broker for the Cornerstone Real Estate Team. Today, I'd like to provide you a market update for October 2024. I've been intending to put out a market update video for about 6 months, so here it is today. First, I'd like to talk about kind of where we've come over the last couple years, and then I'd like to talk to you about where the market's at right now. So in 2021, we saw kind of I've called it a crazy market. It was frenzied. The market spiked. Demand for rental properties was high. There were not enough properties on the market, and the properties that were on the market were in high demand. At that time, if we listed a property, it was not uncommon to have a lease signed and somebody ready to move into that property in 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days on the market. We also, when we ran comparables for a rental property in 2021, 2022, we could look at the market wasn't keeping up with the market, or the comparables couldn't keep up with the market. We had a hard time determining what a market rent price would be. If we pulled a comparables report on a single family home and it said the comparables put the rent at $1,500, we could list it at $1,700 or $1,800, and we'd have multiple showings, probably multiple applications. Like I said, it was kind of a crazy market. It was frenzied. Sales market was the same, but that's a different topic. So there were very commonly rent increases, 2021, 22, rolling into 23. If you were renewing your tenants in a property, oftentimes we were recommending a rent increase for that renewal. If we were listing the property for a new tenant, oftentimes we were bumping that rent up again, maybe $100, $200, $300 to keep up with the market. Demand was high. And we were kind of wrapping up about 10 years, a decade of rent increases, especially in 2022 and 2023. That was pretty common. Now, the market has slowed. The market is trending down, the sales market. Inventory is high. We'll show you a slide here in the video. We use Zillow as a kind of a thumbnail sketch, a point of interest to look at the number of rentals that are available in by week in Colorado Springs market. And so if you compare last year over year, in October of 2023 compared to October now in 2024, there are about 3,300 more available rental properties on the market. And 300 of those are single family homes that are on the market. And so what we saw in the last couple of years was a low point of demand, or a high point of demand, a low point of inventory is now kind of flipped. We have high inventory and we have less demand. Other indicators, days on market. I mentioned in 2021, we 3 to 5 days on market for a single family home, maybe even faster for a small, a less expensive property like a smaller apartment or a condo or a townhome. Now it's not uncommon that we're seeing 30 days on market, even up to 60 days on market, maybe even longer for specialized properties, meaning high rent rate or high, large properties. We're also seeing a decrease in the number of applications that we're receiving per property and the number of showings. One interesting point on that, now we're seeing the same tenants come back to a property multiple times for showings. Back in 2021, 2022, they didn't have time for that. We received, back then, a couple years ago, we often received applications before anybody even saw the property, because the demand was so high and people were in such a panic to find a place to live. And now we have tenants that are coming back to multiple showings on the same property because they're comparing this home to one down the street to one in another neighborhood, and they have the luxury, they have the time where they can visit those properties multiple times and really make a comparison to make a decision on which property they want to rent. It is now a tenants market right now, October 2024. Clearly, it's a tenants market for tenants to find the perfect property for them or the right property for them. So what changed? 2021, we kind of attribute the frenzied market to coming out of COVID. People were finally back to work, but they had received, some people had received money over the time. There just seemed to be a lot of pent-up demand. There was a lot moving in. There's a lot of people moving into Colorado Springs. So there are a couple reasons that I think we'll see now that are causing our current market to trend down. One is mortgage rates. So mortgage rates have increased quite a bit. So somebody who owns a home at 2%, at a 2% mortgage, is not willing to give that up just yet. Even if they have to move or want to move to another property, they're keeping that home. So we've increased inventory because we have more single-family homes or more properties on the market through that. We also have inflation. Possibly the hardest hit areas are the less expensive homes and properties. Like I said before, 3 years ago, apartments, single-family homes, townhomes, everything was practically flying off the shelves. Not so anymore. And what we've noticed is some of our less expensive apartments are on the market for quite a while, and we've had to drastically reduce the rent on those to get interest, to get showings, to get people interested in moving into those. There's a lot of competition. And development. So while development in Colorado Springs has mostly been multifamily, it has impacted both markets, both single family and multifamily market. So in April of this year, we saw 3,000 units hit the market for lease in Colorado Springs in a week period. And the market just can't absorb that in such a time frame. I think we're set to see another 5,000 add on to the market before the end of this year. There's a lot of building going on. A lot of that building started in 2021, 2022, when there was such demand, and investors looked at it and said, oh, this is a good place and a good time to build. And so there are buildings being built downtown. There's a lot of apartments buildings being built up north and east of Colorado Springs, anywhere they can fit properties in. And you may say, well, I have a single family home, so we're not talking about the same markets. Yes and no. So some people are, while they may be interested in a single family home, they can be swayed to move into some of these new apartment complexes because they come with so many amenities. They have gyms, they have pools, they have dog areas, they have showers for their dogs. They're brand new. So I think we're seeing some crossover in that market between the single family and multifamily market. So I think just the volume of properties that are in the inventory is impacting both markets. What does that mean to you? That translates to lower rent rates. We're not recommending as many increases, and in some cases, we may be recommending to you, the owner, that we're going to list your property for less than what you got during the last lease, and that's just to stay with the market. Like I said, we're seeing there's a lot of competition, so we want to make sure that we're putting your best foot forward on your property. For an example, we have one-bedroom apartments that we were leasing for close to just over $850 a month, I think is what we reached. They're now on the market at $725 and $750. We've reduced the rent that much on the smaller apartments because, as I mentioned earlier, those lesser expensive properties may be the hardest hit because there's more and more of them. You should consider incentives. There are a number of places here in Colorado Springs that are offering move-in specials. They're waiving application fees, and some apartment complexes charge tenants admin fees at the start of their lease. Some of them are waiving all those fees, and they're offering free rent. So I did a quick search yesterday, preparation for this video. I looked on apartment lists, and the top 20 apartments listed there, all of them had move-in specials. Most of them had 1 month's free rent. There was 2 or 3 that had 2 months free rent. So that's the incentive. That's what we're competing against, is these move-in specials, waiving fees, a month or 2 months of free rent. What else can you do? Your property has to show well. It has to be clean. It has to be fresh. It has to be updated. There is a lot of competition, again, like I said before, and in some cases we're having multiple viewings. So deferring that maintenance or trying to squeeze another tenancy out of a paint job may not be the best option right now. Like I said, it's a tenant's market, so they kind of have the option of go and finding places. There's plenty of inventory, so they have plenty of room to find places. You also need to look at your rent rate. I mentioned move-in incentives and reduced rent. So if you're concerned about your property staying on the market, we recommend an aggressive rent decrease in order to keep you competitive. If you're renewing current tenants in your property, in many cases we're recommending no increase in rent. Again, because that's the market, and tenants are smart. They're looking at the market, and they might know that they could move down the street and pay $50 or $75 a month less for the same property or same size property. We also recommend, and we've always recommended, that you be pet and animal friendly in your rental property. 80%, we estimate 80% of renters in Colorado Springs have pets. If you're concerned about that, Cornerstone offers a pet guarantee. You can see information about that on our website, and we have another video that talks about the pet guarantee. So we want to encourage you to accept pets in your property. And be flexible. Please take your property manager's advice. We want to do our best by you. We want to put the best foot forward for your property. We want to decrease the amount of days on market and the amount of time that you are not receiving rent for your property. We're going to flash up a comparison from Zillow to show you the volume, the inventory in the market. And if you're looking at me and you're going, "What? That sounds incredible. That seems unbelievable." I'd recommend you check it out yourself. You can Google search, rental incentives in Colorado Springs, and you'll find some of the same information I provided. You want to look at some other property management companies that are updating their owners or keeping their owners updated on the same. You can look at Dorman Property Management here in Colorado Springs. You can look at Grace Property Management in Denver. Owner of Grace has put out video and a letter to his owners, again, talking about the same conditions that I've just discussed that they're seeing in Denver, and of course with Dorman that we're seeing in Colorado Springs. So I hope this information was of value to you. We love to keep you informed. Thanks for your time.